Yo, ladies and gents, you are now tuned into the freshly broken, sponsored podcast, the Melo Drama Podcast. So, shout out to Freshly Broken and the cats at Uni.Fi Records.
No doubt.
So what you have here is the Melo Drama Podcast. So, when I think about the Melo Drama Podcast, you want to say, okay, well, what the fuck is it? Everybody and their mom has a fucking podcast. Well, what we do, we bring to you the truth, live and direct, and we come from a place of authenticity. I think in the era of these muddy waters of everybody having a podcast, what you do have is a bunch of people recording and agreeing. We're not gonna fucking agree.
Nah.
We're gonna have different takes on shit.
Sure.
We're gonna have some different conversations. We are not going to follow pop culture. We're going to kind of innovate and create our own lane. So that's who the fuck we are as far as the Melo Drama Podcast is concerned. So what we'll do now is heard a little bit about the podcast. Maybe these voices sound familiar. So we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and I'll start. I'll go by the name of Speak Easy. And how would I describe myself? I would describe myself as I am a citizen of the first generation of hip hop. And I say that because I am. I am part of the first generation of hip hop. I am a father. I am social services and social justice advocate and activist. In a nutshell, that's who the fuck I am. So, and you'll learn a little bit more about me. Oh yeah, I rap. I do music. I do that sometimes. That? Yeah, I do that. Sometimes it comes out okay. In addition to that, so that's me in a nutshell. So I'll pass it to the homie on my closest left.
Word up. Hey, it's your boy JG here representing for the grumpy old heads. I like to consider myself kind of an enlightened oxymoron.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I'm stuck in my ways, but I'm trying to adapt. You know what I'm saying? I'm a daddy, but I'm still team fuck them kids. You know what I mean? That's just how it be. Y'all see. Y'all go see.
Word up. And last but not least, talk to him.
Yeah, this your boy Trip. I don't have any major description of myself like these guys.
The boy the most humblest.
Bearded fat guy. Sometimes I talk shit. Sometimes I'm quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. BB Kings, Mr. Eye Candy. I got a clothing line with a couple beautiful ladies that wear some clothes and stuff like that.
Word up. And a lot of people don't know, or maybe you do know, but Trip is like a brother to me, and I would say pretty much there would be no hip hop career of Speak Easy if it weren't for Trip. We spent plenty time masterminding the whole concept of Speak Easy and all this other shit like that. So anything that you've ever seen me do, I've always had Trip there with me, kind of helping steer me in the right direction. So you know what I'm saying? So and I think what I like about this group is because I met JG through my homie Tommy, and again, when I think about if you started a podcast and you were able to connect with some people, who would you want to record with? I would want to record with people that would be real, that would maybe challenge my thinking, and just things like that, where we may touch on different things that may be popular, but we also are intriguing enough as individuals to be able to have a conversation about anything. So shout out to the homie Max L down in Atlanta, because that's something that we had as well. Just one of those conversations where we just go, we kick the shit, and we have a lot of fun. So, yeah,
I'm that other dude rapping on Well Spoken that never shows up to perform at the shows.
That's you for real?
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Listen, my first album had no famous guest appearances. That is hilarious. The outcome, I'm crowned the best lyricist. That's real. The only guest appearance was Trip. Yeah, man. So little Milwaukee hip hop history. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to tackle just a few different subjects today, and we're gonna handle that in a manner in which we'll joke a little bit. We'll come from the heart. We'll come from a little bit of maybe data and information and research that we provided. But kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about is mental health, specifically mental health in the Black community. And before I even begin providing my take, my question to both of you gentlemen is mental health in the Black community a fad?
Right now?
Yes.
A fad?
A fad. And I should say the promotion of mental health awareness. Is it a fad?
Is that the cross colors
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
right now?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm asking.
Absolutely.
I
would
disagree.
say. I'd say absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
is.
that's the
disagree.
fuck I'm talking about.
disagree.
Right on top.
That's why
the
this
first
podcast.
subject. Listen, nigga, the first subject ever.
Fair. I'm
I
trying to
agree.
tell
No,
you.
fuck that.
I think when you look at mental health and like professionally, I'm a human services professional.
Okay.
So I work in that field, and you're
Right.
looking at a topic that has been taboo
Mm-hmm.
in the Black community, where we didn't admit that people was fucked up. We didn't admit that people had mental illnesses.
Right.
We still don't go to psychiatrists and psychologists the way
True.
we should. So the fact that somebody at some point now, granted, like it's fucking years later,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we had,
Mm-hmm.
you know, hundreds of fucked up generations,
Right.
that now we're starting to pay attention to the fact that like everybody don't just have a bad attitude. Like some people just really is fucked up.
Oh, that's always been a fact. But the reason why I would say that it's a fad now
Mm-hmm.
is because people still ain't gonna do shit about it.
Mm.
Just talking, you know, they can get on and say what my man just said because he's 100% right, and that's always been the case.
Yeah.
But we still ain't going to no therapist.
Well, I think
And
you
we
got-
still ain't going to no psychiatrist.
I think you got
It's
more
not
people
gonna happen.
going, but they're not going to admit it.
I think you got more people.
They're going, but they're not going to admit it because it's still frowned upon. You tell
Mhm.
somebody, you know, I'm going to a therapist, and you know they got me on mood stabilizers, and you know they tell me that I'm bipolar and I'm suffering with depression. Like,
Right.
you know, we back off like they just told us they got AIDS or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be back. You know, and fucking get in the car and pull off.
Yeah. Honestly, I wanted to ask you two because I'm torn. I don't know. Because and I feel torn because it's something that I'm personally passionate about,
Right.
like super duper passionate about. But I'm happy with any coverage that it receives.
I feel you.
So like for me, I'm like like I started my mental health journey as a professional at about 2009, I would say. So it's not like I have like 20 years experience working in the field. I'm not a therapist. I'm not licensed. I know people that are.
Mhm.
I have studied it, and stuff like that. As far as pursuing my master's degree and stuff like that. But it's like, so for me, it's like I love and I welcome all of the attention that's being brought to it. But then at the same time, I fear sometimes of what you say,
Mhm.
that for some people it is a look. It is, you know, now mental health is real. Is like, okay, it's been real.
Mm-hmm.
It's been real. And then to your credit, Trip, and even the data and research actually backs it. People of color don't go to therapy. They don't seek any mental health services.
Mhm.
And in the research that I've done, because I did a presentation at Mercer University at about 2 years ago, and essentially what we talked about is just the fact that like people of color go to therapy probably 3 times less than somebody who is not of color, than like Caucasian. So that's
be
what the
higher
data
than that.
shows.
Mhm.
And then, but on top, here's a crazy thing. Here's a kicker: the number that's captured of people of color going to therapy, most of that's mandated because I picked up a criminal charge or some shit like that, or it's court mandated. And think about it, we went from, because like you said, it was just all anger management. When I
Right.
first got into mental health, it was anger management. And now I think years later, we were not helping these kids at all.
Nope.
We didn't know no better, but we weren't helping these kids. So for me, it's like, I'm hoping that the fad will turn into a reality. I'm hoping that we will be able to seek services way more often and we normalize it.
Mhm.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, fuck yeah, I have a therapist. I have a damn good therapist. And every professor that I ever had in school said every good therapist needs a therapist.
Mhm.
So that's kind of my take on it. I think I'm hoping that it is not a phase.
I feel you.
Well,
it might be though. Well, you know what? First off, all that stuff you said, probably the main reason that stuff is factual is financial. I had an anger. They recommended I take anger management. If y'all follow the podcast, y'all gonna see why. And then you're gonna also see why.
Talk that talk.
Y'all gonna see what happens when you need anger management and you don't
go.
But here's the thing. So what happened was that shit costs a lot of money, fam. I mean, it's unaffordable, even if you do need it. That's why most people from where I come from only went when it was mandated, because the state paid for it. But like right now, if I was sitting here saying that I feel depressed and I wanted to go even through my insurance, I have to pay for that. Yeah, that anger management class was gonna cost me about $2,700.
Sheesh.
Well, and I said, okay, well, maybe I should go outside and like knock a bitch out and get arrested, and then
so they can mandate it,
so y'all can pay for this shit, right? Because I'm not paying for that shit.
Yeah, they're not gonna give you anger management for that.
So after I get out of jail, after I get, maybe part of my work release, right? Maybe part of my work release, I could get that shit for free. But that $2,700, I was like, yeah, man, I'm not paying that for that. I'll just, I'll just maybe drink a little something.
Next episode, we'll be like, and we got JG the felon.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but dog, that $2,700
we got JO felony and JG
hurt.
the felon.
Man, that's
so. But
if it was written in the policies, in the insurance policies, through all our benefits, if it was in our benefits, that would be considered the same as getting your teeth cleaned, the same as a physical. That shit would be different.
So, but here's my thing. Actually, you're wrong, bro. Mental health services, they're affordable as hell. Every agency has an EAP program, employee assistance program. You can get, depending on your employer, anywhere from 1 to 6 free therapy sessions just on the strength of EAP alone.
Let me tell y'all something, dude. Like, y'all sounding bougie as fuck right now.
Yeah,
what you talking about?
That's what I'm telling him. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
First off, we're talking to a crowd of people, and you assuming that 1, everybody has a job.
Yep.
2, everybody can afford the insurance of their job.
Yep.
Right.
We're in a country that just now, like 4 years ago, got healthcare for everybody, and it still fucking sucks.
They're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. They're trying to get rid of it.
Okay.
But we just got it. Right. So you're talking about people, 1, most of them don't have healthcare. 2, it is out there. There's ways to get it. But we have a uninformed group of people that don't know, and the information is not shared, that there's ways to get help that is not going to cost you, or is not going to cost you as much as you want. Like, you can walk. We're in Wisconsin. You can walk to the mental health building at the county grounds and walk through those orange doors, and they will service you.
Yeah.
And they will service you for an amount of time, and they will give you a prescription for an amount of time.
Yeah.
And they can refer you to another place that's in the city that's going to give you a psychiatrist. They're going to give you meds either free or at a very reduced rate. And they're going to do that for an amount of time, and they'll assess you before they let you go if you need to be extended or not. So there's stuff out there that people can do. I don't think that that's the problem most of the time. The problem is they're not informed. But I think the biggest problem is that we have a culture of people that are so bent on what other people see or think about them that they're not going to do it. Like, we got a culture of people that don't try shit because they scared to fail in front of somebody else. So I'm definitely not finna tell somebody that I'm going to get some medicine because, like, just be honest about it. I had the thought that I should kill everybody in this fucking room the other day, and it maybe wasn't a good thought. So no, we don't. So we self-medicate. So we smoke weed. That's why we got some people that smoke weed, and some people turn to other drugs, and you functional alcoholics. And then, so, we try to self-medicate, and we think we're doing a good job because to us, there's
because you have not killed everybody in the room. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good day.
So,
but like, no, that's not how it works.
So, but first you started off saying, well, we're assuming. My thing is
because you got to talking about your job.
Well, no, I was just providing one example, but then so I provided one example, and then you provided another example. And if we're gonna be real, mental health is not restricted to any social economic status. So I was giving it an example of something that I know personally for like that demographic of people. But then you gave an example of, let's just say I live below the poverty line, and then you gave an example of that, and then you followed up on that and that's to your credit.
Right.
It's
that's because we're informed. If you never had a job, would you know that your job gave you 6 free sessions?
If I never had a job,
I want to know what job that is.
Well, it's
my job. Ain't
any employer.
They give you it's a flyer, and it starts out by you call a number. And you talk to somebody on the phone first.
That's one.
You do
and then
a referral.
After that, if they figure they can't handle it over the phone with some talking over the phone, they'll give you a referral where you actually go see somebody.
Yeah,
it happened a bunch of years ago. My daughter and her mom had got robbed at gunpoint coming from like Culver's or some shit. And my daughter was like young, like elementary school, and she knew to run. You know, so when the guy put the gun, like she ran. And my daughter ran and like, you know, bent the corner and like ducked and hid in the backyard.
She got little,
you know, but it still fucked with her.
Right.
So she had to go see a therapist, and it was through the job, but they had to talk to her on the phone first.
Right.
And then, but it's not right away. You know,
exactly.
It's a wait period.
She didn't go to church. Because that's our therapist.
Now that's teaching. That's touching on something else. Because that's and I love the fact that you're providing this real example that we can that's super duper tangible to us. Because, like you said, sometimes it's not right away.
Right.
Sometimes I'll be honest. Like basically, when I think about my upbringing and a lot of things like that, I didn't learn that I was in so many adverse situations until actually seeing a therapist.
Word.
Like I didn't know, just like how you said a functional alcoholic, like I learned that different parts of me and my journey, I was like a functioning person battling depression from age like 4.
Pretty much.
Well,
and it's like we talk about just the different things that kind of affect us, and we have generational trauma. Shit.
But if you think about, and we're all males in here, and it doesn't even matter. Like if you're talking like white male, black male, Hispanic male, when you're talking about you were functioning with whatever it is your therapist said you had, think about some of us are still passing it on to our kids, and we'll touch on that later. And one of the other topics is that as a male being raised, regardless of culture, economic status, or whatever lines that divide us, you're only allowed to feel like 2 feelings. And anything outside of being happy or mad, like you get called like stop acting like a girl. You're acting like a bitch, man up. So you're not allowed to be depressed as a little kid, as a male. You're not allowed to be sad. You're not allowed to cry, because you cry, they be like, stop crying, girls cry.
Right.
It's like, dude, but my dog just died. Like,
right. So get another one.
So that's the funny thing though. And if we were to kind of bring it all together, like this is the thing that I see. That's why I go back to, I hope it's not a fad, because there's so many reasons why we need it. There's so many different reasons why we need it. And another thing I'll say is, like, I remember just in my journey working as a professional in this, I have been visiting and had clients that were at the bottom of the bottom. I've been in trailer parks and trailer homes, and I have been in the most immaculate homes. Shit that you would see on television, you'd be like, whoa. So like that's the one thing that really, really grabbed me. Was just that, yeah, dude, like it has no bounds. It's like other illnesses, like how people say cancer does not discriminate. Fuck cancer. But you know what I'm saying? But it's like mental health is the same way, dude. It's like, it's very, very interesting.
You know what, Speak? It's you got certain conditions of poverty, right? You may come out of, mine are probably PTSD, depression, anger management, right? You know what that's called when you are the 3rd, 4th generation poor in your family?
Talk to me.
That's called life. That's it. That's just how life is. You know what the cure for that is? Getting some money. That's how we handle.
That's what we're taught.
That's how we handle mental health issues
Yeah.
in the hood. And man, they just did some recent shit, man, that said, what was it, the worst zip code in America? And when they read, I said, damn, that's my zip code. That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was
Real
like,
shit.
so damn, what do that say? What? I got some shit? Shit, I'm about to be 50 now, fam.
Yeah.
It might be too late for therapy.
And on top of that, and this,
I done dealt with that shit and moved on
and
from
this,
it.
This is another misconception as well, though. People think or often believe just because we talk about mental health, that does not mean it has to be attached to a diagnosis either. No. Like, it does not. And a lot of people feel, and that's what makes it more taboo, because people are like, well, no, I don't want to be. But like, some days people just have a fucking bad day.
Yep.
That means your mental health was off that day. You couldn't shake something that annoyed you, bothered you, made you angry. That doesn't make you bipolar,
right?
Just because you had a bad day. Right. And I think that's why I'm hoping it's not a fad, because it's like, if we are just in a general place of, you know, some sort of space of being able to take care of ourselves, just like we go to the doctor and have physicals. But like, I think, to your credit, how many of us really see the doctor all the time? How many of us really go to the dentist all the time? So it's like, that's why I'm like, if we can normalize it, just like going to get your checkup, going to get, you know, an initial diagnosis, just anything of that sort, then we can say it's definitely normalized. It's part of the normal way of life. But I think until we get there, man, I think it's that's why I'm like, yo, if it's hot right now, let's let it be hot right now. Let's let it keep being hot.
Right, because I guess that's the way. The first step to something being normalized is because what you see right now, man, on whatever platforms of social media you're on, you're going to see people that are like shouting from the mountaintops how proud they are they have a therapist. That's usually the first step. Yeah. But to the people that actually need to be reached, that shit don't work.
Well, I think for some people,
that shit don't work. You ain't going just because people, like what you just said, you my guy. And you like, man, I tell everybody I got a therapist. Yeah. But that shit, I mean, just no offense, that don't mean shit to me, bro. That's that's not gonna make me say, well, shit, Speak got one, I'm gonna go get one too. It don't really work like that.
It does and it doesn't, because I'm gonna be real. Because let's just keep it all the way funky. Like I have been screaming mental health on every platform that I have been on. Facts. In music, I've talked about it. When I've guest hosted podcasts and all those other things. But like you said, some people is like whatever. But then I don't have the star power. But then you insert somebody like a Charlemagne, right, into the equation, and now all of a sudden more people. So we do live in an era where influence is key. Yeah. Influence is key. So I know that I can only reach the amount of people that I can reach. But then when somebody else who like, and that's, you know, some people love dude, some people hate dude, but like, one of the things that I can say I admire about him pushing it is he never claims to be an expert. Right. And he always says, I talk about my experiences and then I'll let a clinician talk about that side.
Yeah. Well, it's not just somebody with star power. It's somebody he has a platform, and it's probably at the height right now, being on the station that they're on. And he's relatable, very, and it's not that nobody has ever said anything about mental health, right? But it's somebody, and I'm not saying like it's relatable to everybody, but he has an audience that relates to him, if whether they're just going to see like him do an asshole of the day or donkey of the day. Donkey of the day shit. Yeah. And, you know, it was smart marketing by him, like, hey, donkey of the day, by the way, I got a book. Right.
Yeah. No, that's real. And talk about influence. Think about how many times have you said something or your girl has told you that you should do X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't know. And then your guy tells you that. And then you come back to your girl like, hey, babe, I think I'm gonna go ahead and she's like, oh really? That's influence.
That's a problem.
That's influence.
That's a problem. Dog, that's some shit with my kids, man. I've told them to do something a million times And then Uncle Paul told him once, and he goes, motherfucker, well, you can go carry your ass and live with Uncle Paul.
Uncle Paul, pack your shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Take your ass.
Like I ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't shit. It coming from me, it don't mean nothing.
Ask him.
I feel you.
Talk to Uncle Paul when you need that money for your trip.
You know what I'm saying? Or them new shoes, man. But then the other thing too, is like it needs. I think that part of the fad system, and even what you're saying about it being like a Charlemagne or whatever, I bet they would reach more people if they did what they did and walked off, not sold a book, sold their version of the whatever kind of medication. Recommend this guy over here to get you your. You know what I'm saying? It's always some sort of monetary angle to it. And coming from the people that need this, the people we're trying to reach. When you inject money into the conversation, they withdraw. I don't think because they don't have the money, but two, that switches your angle from helping me to making money.
Yeah, but for example,
you get what I'm saying? So even if it's a righteous thing,
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? When you inject money into it,
that's not true though.
You know,
that's not true. Shout out to the Black Church.
The building fund, but
listen,
still look the same.
But everybody don't be putting in that plate. Rev, no, that's why he passed the plate around 8 times. Yeah, because everybody ain't putting in that plate, Rev. But I feel you.
The Rev come, but that's a.
But Rev stay fly though.
But that's a perfect example though, is because money is definitely an issue, but they don't stop giving there.
Right. That's a give what you can as a give what I say. But no, you're right.
So and I think kind of what I wanted to do is kind of like transition. It's like a great segue into the next topic because if I'm not treating my mental health right, and then like you said, we only know 2 emotions. We're only allowed to have 2 emotions, and that's like happiness or fucking anger, right? And then it creates this thing that now it's been in the universe. I would say, but it's really been hot within like the last 3 years. And when I say it, I mean the phrase toxic masculinity. And I believe my theory is that term toxic masculinity clearly has some sort of tie and a result of someone's mental health.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And so I guess why I wanted to touch upon that subject, because number one, my first question to you guys is, what the fuck is toxic masculinity?
Shit, I was about to ask you that.
And then number two, what's acceptable? So so in my mind goes masculinity versus toxic masculinity. So so before we define it, just off rip, when you hear toxic masculinity, what do y'all think?
Some bullshit. Straight up, right off the rip.
Okay.
That's some bullshit.
Okay.
It's you familiar with that philosophy of this and that there is no there's not really such a thing as a that. There is only this and that which is not this.
Nigga,
you dig what I'm saying?
I just remember you can get with this.
Pretty much the same thing. He changed it up for the bar.
You
he meant you can get with this or you can get with that which is not this. That's what he meant.
Because this is where it's at.
Yeah, because that don't sound fresh. So he made it sound fresher. But when you use the phrase toxic masculinity, what you're doing is you are taking what I consider to be a good thing and you are letting an evil person's definition of that good thing dictate the narrative.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So my joke earlier about knocking the bitch out.
Right.
If that's really what you do, when your girl get out of control, in your mind out of control,
right,
and you knock a bitch out, you because you say, because I'm a man and you gonna do what the fuck I say, that doesn't make that man shit.
Gotcha.
You a crazy motherfucker, obviously.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't get to decide what man shit is just because you do some dumb shit in the name of being a man in your opinion.
Okay.
Doesn't actually make that man shit.
I just wonder who created the term.
Are you looking it up?
Women.
Yeah. Like I'm like, it's like
Somebody wrote that shit.
So we got toxic masculinity.
Yeah. But there is no toxic femininity, though.
I'm finna ask. Is
Talk
there
that talk.
Fam, hold on.
Is there an equal opposite?
One of my favorite
If there is
shows,
no equal opposite, then one cannot exist.
Exactly. That's my point.
That's like having good with no bad.
That's my point.
So if
And
you
this and know that.
But now when we talking, remember Vampire Brooklyn, they thinking we like evil is good. Remember that shit?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's not what we say.
right, I'm saying like
Okay.
you know the term when you be talking to women or you hear women talking, they be like, he not a real man.
Yes.
So it's like, then so what is a fake man? And then why do I not hear you not say that she's not a real woman?
Okay.
Because you want me to call her a woman, but he not a real man.
Man,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother topic.
So if
I got some
toxic
shit on that.
masculinity, what's toxic about me being masculine?
Nothing.
And what's okay about me being masculine? Because that's what we're really talking about is that there's something that I do that you don't like.
Yeah.
And you don't feel that I should do it because you don't think that should be part of what you feel is a man. Well, the reality is I don't know what your example of a man or a masculinity was. Like,
Okay.
So a lot of that goes back to, and not just from women, because JG said it came from a woman, but even, I'm gonna throw him under the bus so we don't all get real.
He said no.
Ain't no dude said that.
But who has said that?
Even if you're talking to like women or dudes or anybody like that, what you consider as masculine or as a man, it plays back to what you've seen in your life or in your past as masculinity or as a man or whatever, because what you got to remember is that your brain keeps score always. So whatever you saw is what you're going to reflect to. You don't touch the stove when you walk past because at some point you burnt your hand, and even if the stove not on, you curious if this motherfucker might be hot.
Right.
So
nah, you're right.
I mean, it's where did it come from, and
See,
what was the basis of it? Like, I'm looking it up,
and that's so I found it right. So because of course
it says traditional cultural masculine norms that can be harmful to men.
But that shit ain't norms.
So who's that from, fam? Because I just
hold on.
It's just
you had a daddy, right? Did you had a father, grandfather, a male role model in your life? You did too, Trip. Right. I'm assuming, right?
Well,
okay, what part of bringing you up were you told if the bitch say something, slap the bitch? When were you told that? Shit. Were you taught that?
NWA taught me that.
Because dudes do that, but were you taught that?
No.
You know
that's not because that's not masculinity.
Nah. Yeah. But I've seen it.
You've seen it happen. It does happen.
But nobody ever taught me that.
Exactly. Right. So how is it a norm?
But that's not masculinity. That's anger management.
Exactly. Well, not anger management because I don't be slapping bitches.
So that's why I wanted us to tackle it and say who before. Like now, there's an official definition on dictionary.com.
Okay,
what's that? And it says a cultural concept of manliness that glorifies stoicism, strength, a lot of other bullshit, and dominance that is socially maladaptive or harmful.
Dude, fuck them.
Wait.
How do you define a word with other words that you have to go look up?
Let me finish. That socially
Who are you helping?
Maladaptive or harmful to mental health. So no.
What's the definition of your definition, motherfucker? I don't know what that shit means.
But this is why I went out on a limb before, because that's why I purposely didn't want to look it up. Right. It says the last few words kill me or harmful to mental health. So essentially now
it is a mental health issue.
My assumption is, what's the phrase? Hurt people.
Facts.
And so basically the term toxic masculinity was created by a collective of hurt people.
Facts.
Because it's dealing with, I have to feel a way to call your masculinity toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Like it's empowering.
It's something about you're making me feel a way, and instead of me having ownership, I'm going to blame you.
Let's look at the whole picture. We got, and again, this is not just in the black culture, but every culture.
Everybody.
We got a generation or multiple generations of boys or men who were raised by just their mom.
Word up.
So dads are dead, dads are in jail, dads are not in the picture or whatever. How is the masculinity toxic if I'm getting raised by a feminine, a female?
Hold on.
And then
hold on.
Okay.
We at Melo Drama, we do not blame women. for the shit that they struggle with accountability.
I'm not blaming women. I'm questioning the
it's
concept.
Not their responsibility.
I'm questioning the concept of this term that has been created that I didn't hear until Speak sent me this text about we gonna talk about this shit. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, did you just make this shit up?
Nah, that's the thing. Like, hey, you know what's fun? Every time you see a sister on social media type the word toxic masculinity, right? Type those words, go through her friends list. Cause I'll be like, these niggas clearly must not be ain't shit. They ain't shit. This dude ain't shit. All the cats in your life. Somebody in that friends list must have made you come up with that shit. It must be some toxic motherfuckers in there.
Now, because
hurt people. You dig?
But the toxic people can't be just the people in her friends list or anybody's friends. So even so this is not just say women because it sounds like we blaming women. Right. The toxic people can't.
It sounds like you are.
You said her friends list.
That was the homie trip. Right
Listen, the toxic people, because if you're talking about toxic masculinity and it's hurting mental health, it doesn't say who it's hurting. Right. So it's probably hurting little boys, it's probably hurting girls, but it's not not just who now they associate with, because you pick your friends based off of shit that you can relate to in your past. So there are things that draw you to certain people. So it's not just who is on that person's friends list or who's in that person's current circle, is what has that person been exposed to, or what does that person lack that person is gravitating to, trying to find or trying to replace. So was there not a dad there? Or was there multiple dads there? Was there an abusive dad there? Was there a dad who, whatever, so, was there a mom who talked shit about the dad and the daughter nor the son never saw the dad? Like, what happened? That
never happens, by the way.
Yeah. So now
know that, right?
So let's flip.
I know it doesn't happen.
It never happens. They never talk shit about the dad.
Absolutely not.
It never happens.
So now what the fuck is masculinity then?
With a straight face.
What is masculinity?
Masculinity is an unnecessary thing, fam. It's an unnecessary, purposeless social construct. You read Twitter?
People need to define things.
Don't you read Twitter, fam?
No, I don't be twoting.
So you need to be twoting, fam. You got to twote.
For people need to define things. They need to be able to put things in categories.
Facts.
So this is a man, this is a woman. Oh, what he does is masculine. What she does is feminine. So they try to put it into categories and they try to associate it with a specific gender. Now, the problem with that is everything doesn't neatly fit into those categories.
There you go.
So, Nikki, your sister played basketball.
Right.
So for a long time, that was considered masculine.
Yeah.
And girls couldn't play basketball, but hey, we can give you a tennis racket.
Right.
Yep.
So then now you got girls playing tackle football on the boys' team. For a long time, that was masculine. And no, you can't come out for football. Rap. You couldn't rap if you was a girl because girls can't rap because it was considered masculine. So you try to fit things into categories and the shit just doesn't work.
So you believe that's also just a tagline.
It's a tagline. So if there is toxic masculinity, there's got to be some toxic femininity.
Femininity. No, it's not.
But it does because let's go back to the thing I said.
Femininity is one of my favorite Eric Benet songs.
That shit is a jam.
Femininity.
So let's go back.
Ironically, it is a do-up tape classic.
It is.
Let's go back to what I said about the little boys.
The
little boys. So the little boy that's not allowed to feel anything besides anger and sad, that message doesn't just come from the male.
Nope, I come from a woman too.
Right.
Facts.
So that's toxic.
But
that's toxic because now what you're doing is you're in mental health. You're creating a boy that's going to have to either bottle up every other feeling or release every other feeling as anger.
In the vein
and now you got the boys that need anger management or whatever, because I'm happy, so when I'm happy I can do this, but I'm mad, so I do this. I'm sad, I can't be happy when I'm sad, but I'm not allowed to cry, so fuck it, I'm gonna punch something.
Yeah.
I'm depressed. I can't go be happy when I'm depressed. So fuck it. I'm gonna punch something else. So now you got everything being funneled through two corridors.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't come from the presence or lack of a male with masculine whatever.
But we were all but we all were influenced that way. We were all influenced to say this is masculine, this is not.
But
is yes or no?
I don't know. It was, you know what? What it was more where I was from. It was more of not necessarily don't do this because you're a boy. It was more of a, what's the other one? Wearing your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not you can't feel those emotions.
Okay.
It's you can't show those emotions, because if I show you that. Well, what did your boy Jay-Z say in the song? Don't ever tell him you love him, because soon as he detect love, his pimp or die.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna show you how I truly feel just yet until I can trust you. But if I put my real emotion out there too soon, you're gonna play me. You're gonna use that against me.
If I go 20 years, not being able to show
that's the mental health. That's where that shit come in.
I can't show it, then I'm gonna stop feeling it. Right. I'm gonna think myself that I'm gonna stop feeling it because I'm gonna make it present in another way. So now you got somebody that's mentally fucked up.
Yep. Because now I even tell that shit to my kids today, man. I'm saying you're not wrong for feeling how you feel. Mm-hmm. But you got to treat your emotions like gold and diamonds. As soon as you show them, people know where that is, they going to come steal it. They going to use that against you.
See,
you dig what I'm saying? But
I think that's
but hold on. But your family, those that you love,
okay, I follow.
They know where.
I follow.
You see what I'm saying? They know where your gold and diamonds are, and it's okay for them to know because
they're gonna protect you. This is a safe environment.
Exactly.
I see what you're saying. So basically, so when you have to put that armor on when you go
you're out in the world,
and I think that's part of my problem though. So I think I grew up in an environment where like the women were the women and the men were the men, and it's like but it's like there's certain things that men did that made you more of a man. So like and then like I even remember pushing the envelope just myself. Like I'm like, there's one other person before like that's older than me that made a living not doing physical labor.
Right.
And that person, his manhood was then questioned by the family. So then now here comes me, and I make up in my mind when I'm about like 8 or 9 years old. I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to get paid to do physical labor. I refuse to do what I see all of my fucking uncles do, my granddad do.
Right.
Fuck that. I'm going to get paid to think.
And if you listen to those men, they probably told you not to.
But the thing is, so here's where we can call it, whether it be masculinity, toxic masculinity. I never shared that thought until I actually became an adult. So you have an 8-year-old, 9-year-old speak, and I decide this at this time. And everything else I do in life, I just go along, go with the flow. And it took me to learn about mental health and to learn about all this other shit to be able to say that, like, because I even remember different family members and friends was like maybe even questioning my manhood because I didn't want to do man work.
And is that why you didn't share it?
You didn't want to be questioned?
It was because of the perception that men don't do this.
Right.
Men don't, and I think that's so I think society does categorize things. So masculinity is a societal construct, whether it be real or fake, just like race. Race ain't real either, but it's a fucking construct that we all abide by.
That shit is something. So whatever the fuck that is, you better put a title on it because it does exist. Race.
No,
race. Skin tone.
Racism exists.
Exactly.
But not race.
I feel you.
They made up race to create racism to keep us oppressed.
Should call that shit whatever the fuck it is ism then.
Yeah.
Because that shit real.
Yeah. Because essentially it's just what happened. I mean, before we, I'll jump here and jump back. It was a caste system.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
But what happened is motherfuckers who looked alike, they're like, how can I level up? Let's reverse the order and let's just do it in the order of skin tone, not caste system. So now I can be poor, but I'm still of the supreme race type shit. But I think for me, just holding that in was just something, because like I remember when I finally had a conversation with my granddad, um, and we were just having a conversation, and he was really trying to gauge. At this point, I'm like 19.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to engage whether or not I was into women or into guys, and he was like in a very, very loving way talking to me and stuff like that. And my granddad was a straight shooter,
Right.
so he was like, "You ain't running from pussy, are you?" I'm like, no, Pop. No, Pop. I'm not running from it, Pop. I said, and
Man,
then,
I wish I could have met
hey,
your granddaddy.
hey, check it
man.
out. And then this is what I tell.
He
This
was
is
a
what I.
cool dude. He
This
was
is
a
what.
cool dude.
This is what I tell
hilarious.
Pop. This is what I told him. I said, Pop, the difference between me and all your other sons is they gotta run and talk about it. I just do it.
Yeah.
And then he
That's
smirked.
real.
And Trip will tell you, if my pop smirks, that's an attaboy.
That's respect. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
So that was at
It
that
was a
point in
real-
time in my manhood where I got that stamp of approval from my pop. That was like, damn, he didn't go the way we went, but he's still a man nonetheless.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? And that's why masculinity, it's not a real thing. I am who I am as a man. And I tell people, I'm more in tune with my emotions than the average person. Fuck male, female.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very in tune with my emotions. I was just talking to my oldest daughter, and I was like, "You're a lot like me." I was like, "You're sensitive." She's like, "What? I ain't sensitive." And I was like, "See, that's why you're like
That
me."
shit weak for women
She's
too.
like,
nigga.
she's like,
Fuck you
I was
mean
like, "That's why
sensitive?"
you're like me." And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like,
Now, this is where I differ from a lot of probably people my age.
yeah,
I do encourage that being a dad or uncle, whatever you are, that you need to be more nurturing.
Yes.
Because with men, we're not nurturing, but you need to be more nurturing. And I have to catch myself sometimes with my kids.
yeah,
You know, not so much now, but especially when they were younger and I was a new dad, because you know, you parent by what you see.
Word
but
up.
like, I don't want a bunch of fucked up kids, like,
Yeah.
not being able to identify with what's going on inside of them. So even with my kids, like, they're both in sports and they're competitive, and when they lose, I welcome them to express how they feel. And
Right.
how does that make you feel?
yeah,
You know, and it's okay to feel that way.
Yep.
yeah,
You know, and so they're not ashamed of, like, you know, I fucked up, or I'm sad, or I'm mad. Like, it's okay to feel that way. It's not okay to stay
Right.
in that
Yeah.
feeling forever,
Facts.
but it's okay to feel that way right now.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You're gonna work through it. You're gonna just pass it,
Yep.
and then there's tomorrow. But you don't bring today into tomorrow.
I like that.
You know what, fam? Kind of to my original point, though.
Mhm.
Obviously, you got 3 dads here,
Yeah,
and we all doing shit the normal. Well, not normal, but in a safe manner.
Okay.
All like, you know, we all encourage our children to express
right,
proper emotion, whatever they feel, right?
yes,
But again, to my point of the worst members
Mhm.
dictating the narrative,
yeah,
why the fuck are we only discussing the concepts of the cats who don't? Why do they
Yeah.
get to decide what it is?
Well,
Why
that's-
don't we get to decide what it is?
And honestly, that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I feel like, you know what, I have found. Well, I'm not on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook for about a couple years now.
Did you go to high school?
Yeah.
You've been on Facebook, fam.
So what I find is, it's like when we engage in different conversations,
Mhm.
social media sometimes can be a great place to discuss things. And honestly, like, if you guys are listening to this podcast, you're viewing it,
Mhm.
you can also chime in, under the comments where we posted it on, all platforms. But I think that's why I want us to be able to
So
bring shit like that here to talk about.
So you really believe that quality discussion takes place on social media?
You know what?
I think you got a bunch of people spewing out their opinion, and nobody's reading the response from somebody else.
Yeah.
They're spending more time. It's like an argument with somebody, and they're not listening to you say, okay, I agree with you, I fucked up, where can we go? They're focusing on what's my next response.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you could be like, yeah, you're right, I fucked up. And they're gonna be like, and another thing, like,
Yeah. No, I believe it's more rare than it used to be, but I believe that there was a time where you can have constructive conversations.
Yeah,
but I think
that was also when like Facebook was limited to people who was like on a college campus
And it wasn't
whatever. And now you got people with like 8 pages and one page is their real name and the other page is popping for the dollars. And you know,
they got to try to generate money. Now everybody on Facebook and other forms of social media, not to socialize, but to monetize.
Yeah.
And then shit changed up.
Yeah, so I think that's why I think it's cool for us to be able to tackle shit like that, because I think at the end of the day, we are great at being divisive.
Facts.
We are wonderful. We are masterful at being divisive. And I remember...
Well, who wants to talk about the good shit that's going on when the negative shit is more entertaining?
Yeah, and I remember having so many conversations when things got into arguments, trying to present an objective, hey guys, this is not one-sided. And I remember just giving up. The last good... the last... Yo. The last good argument that I had... Yo,
he's like, I quit. Just fuck
you niggas is lost.
The last,
I quit.
Listen, the last good argument that I had.
I hate it here. I hate it here.
He said, you're not my dad.
I said, I remember just giving up. That motherfucker needed a comma. He put a period. I said, fuck it.
Did you flap your jacket like Shaft and walk out?
Yo, the funny thing is, the last good conversation and argument that I had on social media was with the homie Max, and we were, and this is what birthed the podcast that we did for a while, is because he and I were arguing about, weed, right? And I had very little knowledge. I was super
that
duper.
Nigga's a sensei.
I was ignorant, right?
Yeah.
So
Max is a sensei of that.
But the cool thing is, why the argument got so good is because we had people that respected us and they were listening.
Right.
And I remember saying something about, you don't know where it comes from. Yeah. He was, it's the funny. He's like, nigga, you drink coffee. Do you know where the fuck your coffee comes from? Do you really know?
That sound like Max.
Like,
too,
and it was so cool because we were able to have that heated ass discussion and still be cool enough to like years later get together and collaborate on some shit.
Facts.
And that's the cool way of like a perfect example of two people saying more than you're stupid, more like I disagree and here's why. And then he educated me and we were able to flourish and kind of move forward and just have a cool type, situation. So yeah, that shit's hilarious, bro. Like,
man.
Yeah.
But you have to, man. It's I keep my social media friends lists are diverse as fuck.
Okay.
My life may be a little more diverse than that, but still diverse as fuck. And I get people messaging me all the time like, man, how you friends with that person? How do you discuss this with that? I said, man, well, you know, if I surround myself with people that think like me, how the fuck am I gonna grow?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they keep me from getting too far into my shit.
Yeah.
Because that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get too far out in the water, you need somebody to pull you back. Like, hey, motherfucker, the shore over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of work it. But like even looking at what you said, the next topic was.
Yeah.
If you want to know why, like conflict is good, you can look at social media and you will see hundreds of thousands of people that have no idea how to resolve conflict.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Even typing.
Yeah.
You can tell. You can read I always read the comments because they are hilarious, but they're also very telling. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, very.
The problem is
so.
the people in the comments, fam. And you can read comments and be like, I know that motherfucker was mad as hell when he typed that shit. I bet you he broke 3 keys on the keyboard because he was typing hard as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
His T don't work no more.
But it's like social media is taking it from.
Yeah.
You're not just arguing. Like, we could argue in this room and say the camera not off.
Right.
And, like, speak get the best of me and be like, you know what, you're right, fuck it.
Yeah.
Don't nobody else got to know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I could walk out. I still got pride and shit. I walk out.
Yeah.
I go home and, I still look like I'm the man and shit. You can't do that shit on social media.
You got to leave.
So like, I'm probably guilty as fuck. I'm guilty as fuck as too. So like, I just don't like. I don't even get in arguments on social media because you know what? At some point, even when I figure out I'm dead wrong, I'm not gonna quit, and I'm gonna come hard as fuck. I'm gonna make you.
He toxic.
I'm gonna make you believe that you wrong. Like I will make up a fact. Like Like in Hungary, it's okay to.
George Washington was a Crip.
That's why they had to make the money blue now.
Man, that shit hilarious. I'm gonna make up shit. Oh man!
But
He said, "I will make up facts."
like you not.
Hold on,
Like,
you believe it still? Because he said he didn't say I will make up stories.
Right.
I will make up facts.
Man.
Tell
Yeah,
me-
you can't Google that shit.
tell me,
That shit ain't
tell me
true.
a fact that's not made up.
Fact.
Oh,
Tell me
feel
a
you.
fact that's not made up.
Man, you can listen to any woke brother and hear a whole bunch of made up ass
Made up
facts.
facts.
I'm like, for
Facts.
real?
If you ain't got a right shoe, you ain't got a left shoe.
They
Facts.
did that shit in Egypt, my dude. How the fuck you know what they did in Egypt?
We was this in Egypt. First off, I wasn't never in Egypt.
They wasn't either.
So now I'm confused because they still finding pyramids,
Right.
But you got a whole lot of facts
yeah.
about what happened. How can you explain this to me?
Man.
Like, can you translate this tablet?
I mean, was it us as kings or was it aliens, my dude? I mean,
Man, they don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh God,
They
dude, that is
decipher
hilarious.
hieroglyphics. Fab said he gonna make up a fact to keep. I'm gonna stand on this point,
But I do though.
I mean, who gonna research it?
man.
Yeah.
If I make up
Yeah,
a name,
man.
I make up a name of somebody who like smart and shit, sounds smart and
Ooh,
shit.
it'd be tough
And
being a
you know,
journalist now because
and if
people
you
don't
use-
read.
If
Yeah.
you use some big words and shit,
Yep.
like the words they made you use in college that you never use again,
Yeah.
and then you put that shit in there, motherfuckers, they just gonna back off. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe.
he said facetious.
He
Facetious ain't got shit to do with what we talking about.
said, "I'm gonna just
But I'm
type."
just gonna throw it
You
in
right,
there.
fam. You right. Trip got a point.
Oh, dog, stupid. It's always one of them, though. It's always one of them.
And you
too.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Facetious,
yeah,
he right,
yeah,
he right.
yeah. I'm gonna just delete my comment.
Man, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
That
goodness,
shit
dude.
funny, fam.
So yeah, I think I don't have anything else to say about conflict being good or conflict being bad. I don't know.
I think it's gotta be.
I think
As long as we're gonna try to continue to be a society, it's gotta happen, fam. Because
Yeah.
you have to learn how to kind of like with what you were saying about mental health, kind of tie that shit together.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily. You needing it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you're struggling with dealing with something.
Yeah.
And this person is gonna help you process it better so you can deal with it better.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's what the conflict
Yeah.
does. Because you see it now, man. Like, dude, I give you my best example, man. I'm in the trades.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole lot of MAGA hat wearing motherfuckers.
Okay.
Right? And I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I ain't slapped the shit out of none of them motherfuckers yet.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
That's huge,
and that's
fam.
something nobody ever really
'Cause,
thinks about.
Fam, like 8 years ago,
Yeah.
I would have slapped the shit out of a bunch of them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real
Yeah.
because of how it's not because of how I come, because
Mhm.
I come in laughing and joking and I come in cool.
Yeah.
It's what they give to me after I do that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because
Gotcha.
however, man, it can go as far left as you want it to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to rise up to every motherfucking level.
Yeah.
So,
You know, some people need conflict.
yeah.
That's why.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why you
It's-
have it.
But the
Yes.
reason that I can process that now
Yeah.
is because I've had those conflicts in the past
Yeah.
so many times. It's been, man, you know what? The last time I snatched a dude up on the job, the cat I
Hold
was
up.
working with.
He said last
Nah,
time.
to people,
Which
yeah.
implies that
I'm
there
gonna
has
just
been
keep-
several.
How many
I'm
times
gonna keep it
did you snatch somebody up on the
fam.
job?
I'm 3-0 publicly. That's public knowledge. I'm 3-0. I'm really about 7-0, but them other four was kind of, back behind the crates and shit.
Word.
Ain't nobody see nothing.
Hey, he's like MJ. He's never
Dog.
lost in the finals.
3-0. But that last time,
Did you
I'll
have
never.
flu on the sixth one?
Man, you know what I'm saying? Nah, dude, I had
The
just
flu
became
game.
a father, and that's what dude said. Because I was dragging dude across the roof. I was finna throw him off the roof.
Oh wow.
And fair. And
After,
dude
we're
was
gonna
like,
end this podcast with a
and
group
dude-
hug too.
Dude
Just so
was
you guys
like,
know.
Jay. He was like, Jay, man. He said, man, chill, man. You got your kids. You got. I just had my firstborn son.
Gotcha.
He was like 2 months old at the time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now I know I'm gonna get fired for doing this.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, motherfucker, it ain't just you.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that kind of, then I'm like, okay, I got to figure out. But I'm not gonna stand for the shit that dude did. That's a long ass story. I'm not gonna stand for that.
Gotcha.
But at that moment, I realized I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can address it, but maybe in a different way.
It's got to be in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, man, it might have just been, I'm going to grab my bag and move out my apartment, go stay at my buddy crib for a minute till I get another job, get another place, and I'm cool.
Yeah.
No, motherfucker, you got a wife.
It's bigger than that now.
She ain't gonna like that shit. You know what I'm saying? Your kid needs shit. You know what I'm saying? Your kid needs, like, fam, you gonna have to figure out something else because this shit don't work.
Daddy, did you get them Pampers for you threw dude off the roof?
See what happened, son.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a black man and I can't. and dog like, yeah, Pops, I don't really give a fuck about that shit. I need that formula. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's real.
But then I had to revisit my past conflicts. Look at what happened, what caused me. Why was you that mad? You know what I'm saying? And I still struggle with it a little bit, man. My boy, state champ hooping, man, I used to get them refs to business.
Yeah.
So it's still a little bit of that in me. So it's still a little bit of that in me. But the past conflicts, man, helped me process that shit differently so that I could come up with a better reaction and one that's not going to hurt me, but still maybe get some results. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think conflict.
But that's the only place it could come from.
So not to analyze you or anything, but it sounds like you're saying that it's not necessarily conflict, but more of like that just happened to be your way to display a certain amount of passion for something. Because you know you brought it back to like your son playing ball, and it's like you're not in conflict with the ref, like you don't even fucking know, dude. But you're passionate.
I be in conflict.
You start the conflict. You start the conflict.
Right.
You start the conflict out of your passion for your son's well-being, and you know that the fact that that's a part of you on the court.
Right.
Yeah.
So you start the conflict for that. So I think the conflict is motivated by something, depending on who it is.
Right.
So it can be good depending on what it's for.
Right.
It can be bad. It all depends on what people do. People need conflict for different things.
Right.
So what are they searching it out for? Like some people just, used to unhealthy relationships. So like if you think about like a domestic violence cycle or something like that, or a person who's used to domestic violence, whether it be a woman or a man, they're going to search out somebody who provides that conflict that they're used to, not because they need it, but because they're comfortable there.
I get that, but that's kind of...
If you flip it on the other side, if you look at, we all grew up, we're like probably the first generation that grew up all hip-hop. Like, think about conflict in hip-hop. Like, if I want to get in the game, I got to diss somebody. So if you're the best, you might fuck me up, but you know what? Fuck Jay-Z.
Yeah,
right.
But what's gonna happen?
I think
Jay-Z. If Jay-Z respond, then it's one of the ones where like
it definitely does.
Good press, bad press is all good press.
Right.
So if Jay-Z diss me, and I might get my fucking head ripped off. But you know what? Everybody finna go back and listen to my song that made Jay-Z made a verse about.
Honestly, that helped Jim Jones. It helped Jim Jones' career flourish. For real.
Helped 50 Cent.
Yeah,
that helped Jim Jones. That helped who was it? Old boy that dissed LL Cool J a long time ago. Kumo D. Like if you think about just hip hop, period. Man, if you shoot the shot at the person at the top, I can get in.
Yeah. So I think conflict. It's a very interesting thing because in my professional world, I would say I always would tell people whether it be when I work with kids or adults, if we never have conflict, if every time I see you everything is all good, we're not doing any work.
Nope.
So until we have conflict, and I found just through the years of actually after I got some experience, because I was like, damn, everything's going so great. Yeah, I was so green. I didn't know no better. But then I was able to tell people in the beginning, if we don't have no conflict, I'm not going to go out and say you're lying to me, but we're not tapping into the nitty gritty yet.
There's something disingenuous going on here.
And then also, when I think about conflict,
we're not moving.
Yeah. And then think about how conflict is used to gain power. So when you say conflict, like it's a part of our day to day, because there's no such thing as world peace, because conflict can protect my financial interest. Conflict can protect my power. So it's like, it's so interesting because it's something that a lot of people steer clear from, but we live with it all day, every day. Like there's no way, if we're really living life, there's no way around conflict.
If you should conflict on some level, but it should move you forward. And there should be some growth or some compromise. And if that's not happening, then then it's bad conflict.
Yeah.
But if there's some growth or there's some compromise that comes out of it, then that's good conflict. But then you also gotta not let people get conflict and beef confused, because like
I like that.
Or hating,
I like that.
Like it's not conflict if you hating on me and I don't even know that you hating on me. That's not conflict, G. We not beefing. Like you got an internal issue on your own. Like
right.
But that's different.
That's true, but it's still
it's
conflict with you based on what you're gonna do next. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, and that's why I said like people create conflict based on whatever need they're trying to satisfy. So,
well, let me ask y'all this then, because this is the reason why I think those conflicts, those confrontations between opposing forces are good things.
Okay.
If I grab a book and it says, when someone disagrees with you politically, this is your reaction.
Right.
And I just do that and I'm good?
No.
You see what I'm saying?
No.
Because
but that's not genuine.
Right. But my thing is, that's where you learn from.
Yeah.
That's where you learn how to process it, how to deal with it. And it's got to happen.
But
yeah.
You learn. One example I always give my kids, we out in the backyard watching squirrels, because now that we out the hood, we can do that shit. Right? So I'm just watching squirrels, right?
Like we graduated from stray cats to
squirrels. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fam, man, the raccoons out here, they don't eat garbage, my dude. They eating, like raccoons supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So we watching the squirrels, right? And I said, man, my boy was like, man, Pops, that squirrel climbed that tree fast as hell. I said, you know why he climbed that tree fast as hell? Because all that motherfucker do is climb trees. That's all they do. Yeah. And you won't see another creature out here anywhere that's going to do in a tree with that damn squirrel. That's all he do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Who else run along the damn power lines and shit? Right. And know the one that ain't going to shock him and shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's what he does. So that's kind of what I was getting at, man. Yeah. Like when you go through them things and you learn, you strengthen those resolution, those muscles of resolution. You know what I'm saying? How to resolve shit. Then it's like, now as you get older, that's fly shit. I ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, that's bullshit. I'm going to just let dude talk till he get tired and go, you know what I'm saying?
Then that's what I'm saying. That's not conflict. Right. That's dude got an issue with you and you like, and the thing is, I have nothing to benefit from that. Yeah. So I'm not going to address that.
But you got to realize that.
Well, that's growth. That's a level of growth.
Right. And you got to realize that.
Catch me in my 20s or my teens,
that's what I'm saying. We say the same thing, fam.
So, but here's the funny thing:
you say, bitch.
This is
you ain't gonna say it in my face.
Everything was a fight.
I would definitely say, I believe the moral of the story is conflict is in most parts. We look at it, it's good. And what I can say is, on the Melo Drama podcast, we're gonna have a lot of conflict amongst each other.
For sure.
Definitely. And we're gonna be able to talk about different shit. We're gonna be able to agree to disagree. I think I just really want us to push the envelope, fam. Like, I mean, if you guys were to say you have a vision for what we want to do, like, and where we want to lead, the people who are connecting with us, what would you say off the top of your head? Like, that's how we gonna end it out. What we, podcast 1 in the books.
Okay.
So now what's the vision?
You know what, man? My two biggest pet peeves about what's going on right now is that authenticity and practicality are lacking. Okay. Everybody wants to, I'm not going to say what I feel, I'm going to say what they feel is right or what I feel is right. That's different. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you feel about it. Yeah. But this is what everybody's saying, so that's what I'm going to say. Yeah. Or this is what everyone is doing, so that's what I'm going to do. But then you go home and you live your life. Yeah. Well, if your life is good to you, what's wrong with you saying this is my life publicly? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's I used to say, man, it's only like 5 real motherfuckers on social media. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just meeting the homie today and shit, but I'm assuming he one of them. There's like 3-4 of them sitting in here. You know what I mean? It's like, dog, there's
one more person out there. Where you at?
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, dude, when you gonna see me, I'm gonna be me. Yeah. Now you may see the professional version of me, which is no cussing. Maybe I'll say all of my R's at the end of the words. You know what I'm saying? I think they call that code switching now. It's, you know what? Whatever, fam. I'm gonna be professional when I'm in a professional atmosphere, but when I'm here, I'm comfortable. I'm free. That's how I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you see me on social media, I'm that guy.
That's real.
You know what I mean? And I just think that, man, if what you do is good enough for you, you should be able to do that wherever you at.
Word up.
I think that's why I'm here. So that's what y'all gonna get if y'all watching the podcast or listening to the podcast. That's what you're gonna get from me. I think that's what you're gonna get from the other two cats too. Only thing is they work with people, and so some of the shit they say it probably help you out more than the shit I say.
Well, Speak's probably gonna get more help than me. Like I'm like, you'll get the professional side, but like you're gonna get different stuff, and it's like I don't have an expectation for. Yeah. And not gonna say I don't have a vision. The vision is for growth, obviously. Thanks. Yeah. And to be authentic and be able to speak our truth, have some fun. But you're not always going to get somebody who's like, oh, mental health and let's be nurturing. Mm-hmm. Like I might come back next week and be like, I like big booty hoes. And,
we some multifaceted motherfuckers.
I might come back the week after that and be like, so I went to church this morning. But the thing is, like, it's all me. Yeah, like big booty I'm not, too. I'm not gonna try to give you one image of this is me. I'm perfect. Right. I fit into this nice little box. Dude. Like I don't have a box, and if I got a box, it's probably like 5 of them, and the top is off, and I jump from box to box based on how I want to deal with that day. So you're gonna get what you give, and you're gonna get what I come to the podcast with that day, and just understand, like, if you do call in and you give me some fucked up energy, I might give you some fucked up energy back. But then I might not, and I might just tell you, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pray for that, brother.
Keep moving.
and here's a fun fact that I didn't want to share until like we at least got number 1 in the books. So the funny thing is, like, Trip, like I purposely sought out people to partner with me on this, and with Trip, he doesn't listen to podcasts at all. That's hilarious. So he does not have an expectation.
I listen to one podcast, but I only listen when they interview a rapper that I like.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's just old school interviewing. So like, just like how I'm a diehard, like I listen to at least a good 4 or 5. I got them on rotation. Okay. But like, he doesn't have a concept of what we should be. And I knew that if I can get 2 of the realest motherfuckers that I know in a room, we're always going to have a blast and be able to tackle different shit and be able to have fun at the same time. So like, so that's really my intention, is just to continue to be me and continue to have fun, let loose, and then be able to engage with people, and let's just fucking grow, man. Right. So this has been episode 1 of the Melo Drama Podcast. I am your boy Speak Easy, and with my homies JG and Big Trip, and we are sponsored by Freshly Broken and the good folks at Uni.Fi Records. So thank you, motherfuckers, for tuning in.
How can people contact you guys for future questions, ideas, things like that?
For future questions, ideas, if you guys want to talk to us about that, you can hit us up on IG at the Melo Drama Podcast, or you can email us at themelodramapodcast@gmail.com. I'll be talking with the fellas. We'll see if we will have a presence on we will have a presence on Facebook and Twitter. It'll just be a matter of which one you think is gonna monitor it, because I'm not.
I fucking hate Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's a cesspool, fam.
I tried Twitter. So, back I might be able to work the Facebook.
But maybe that'll be our niche. Maybe it's like you gotta rock with us, and you have some little promo here, little promo there. Right. But let's just build an organic community where if you come and you join our community, like, it's just real. And it's like, we're not chasing numbers. We're not trying to be in the place to be. We are the place to be. So come holler at us.
Work.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.